So thank you all for joining. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Sarah McKeon. I am the Director of Marketing and Communications at the John Roberts Company, supporting both of our locations in Minneapolis and Milwaukee. For those of you that are familiar with HM Graphics, we are all under one umbrella. If you are new to our company, please reach out to me. I've got a really cool video I'd like to share with you that just kind of gives a quick overview of who we are and what we do and how we can support your company, your brands, your initiatives, your marketing campaigns, all of that good stuff. So we're really excited to talk to you today about clever ways that you can integrate print with technology. You know, it's always something that we get asked about is how we can combine digital marketing or technology in with your marketing campaign. So it'll be a really great topic. Before we get started, make sure you have your smart device ready because this presentation will be interactive and I really want everyone to get the most out of this presentation as possible. And let's have some fun. Use the chat function, ask us some questions. I'll interrupt our speakers today and we'll just let this be an open dialogue. So have your smart device ready. Primarily your camera function is what we'll be interacting with for the most of today. So our speakers today are David Nachbar and Ed Levy. David comes with decades of experience and passion for technology and is an augmented reality and virtual reality expert. He brings AR and VR to print and packaging to clients to enhance their sales. That's what we're all after. Ed's inventiveness and creativity continues to keep him in touch with current technical trends that tie into effective, measurable, and memorable campaigns. So we hope that today it sparks some inspiration. What I really want you guys to take away for those on the call for today's presentation is we want you to know that technology will increase the engagement and measurability of all of your printed pieces. So it's really taking your printed piece to the next level and how your audience can interact and engage with your messaging and of course, complete your call to action. We also want you to take away feeling that John Roberts and HM Graphics can seamlessly integrate these technologies into your marketing collateral. We are the experts. We've partnered with experts. We can really do this pretty seamlessly. And then on top of that, for those of you who have joined today's call, I want you to take advantage of our special offer, which will be a free consultation with your account executive. And if you don't have one, reach out to me. I'd be happy to get you in line with one. And then as well as David and Ed to discover which technologies might be best suited for your current or upcoming campaign. So a couple things there to kind of get you excited. So with that, again, we want this webinar to be conversational. Use your chat function at the bottom of the screen. I'll interrupt them at any time to get your questions answered. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to David and Ed, and I think they're going to kick it off right away with a little interactive fun.
Yes, we are the fun. So thank you, Sarah. Thanks to everybody for taking the time out on this beautiful day. Again, this needs to be conversational. We don't want to talk at you. We want this to be a discussion, and there's some really cool things that we're going to show you. We're going to give you the 30,000 foot view, and then each one of these aspects can be drilled down into in greater detail. So again, we encourage you to ask a lot of questions. That's how this whole platform is designed.
Let all the things we're showing you spark your imagination for the endless possibilities available through this next phase of print to life. So let's start out with our first slide here, which is everybody grab your smartphone and open your camera. And I'm going to do the same thing while we're at it and scan the code that you see on the screen here. The QR code and the pandemic have changed our life a little bit here. Once this web page pops up, it's going to load the experience here on your phone. And we're all doing it at the same time, so I'm not sure what kind of glitches we'll have here because we're all doing it and my phone seems to be going slow. So we're all doing it at the same time. that's an unusual thing for web AR. We're just overloading here a little bit. So we'll share this slide with you as time goes on. But what happens here is you'll get 4 white corners of a camera, open camera, and it'll ask you to scan the image. And when you scan the Modelo image, it comes to life. And it comes to life where the skeletons dance. Is anybody seeing this yet?
Let us know in the chat. Vicky sees it. Katie sees it.
I'm just starting to load now.
Right.
There we go. Please share with us that this is working for you guys, because unfortunately I can't see you raise your hand or anything.
Yep, it's working. It looks like it worked for Scott. He thinks this is awesome. Emily likes it. Gary says this is pretty cool. So looks like we've got
So I'm gonna back out so I don't overload it myself. You guys are doing it. I'll leave this screen up a little bit more as we're talking, and we can come back to this as well. So what happens when you build augmented reality, which this is, it's a marker-based or image recognition software. So it's looking at this Modelo logo, and then the sound is playing, the skeletons are dancing, and then there's 4 buttons below the experience. When I talk about buttons, each one of those icons is something that gets you to the next level, whether it's a URL, whether it's your calendar on your phone, whether it's a scheduling URL to make an appointment with a salesperson, whether it's to learn more. Every button has some interactivity with it that will enhance the experience. Not only will it enhance the experience, but there's data collection behind everything you do. So think about all the mailing pieces you've done in the past, and it goes out in the mail. People read it. You have no idea they read it or not. The only way you know is if they engage in the call to action. This way, you're going to be able to see they engaged. They may have not called to action, but they engaged, and you'll get extra data because of that. Are we ready to move on to the next screen?
Let's do it. Looks like Chris Dahl, one of our reps here, it looks like, I don't know what he was doing, but he like scribbled all over our presentation.
Well, that's interactive. That's what we were looking for.
Hey, there you go.
Right.
There's some Chris's art for you.
Right. So here's a list of all the technologies that we're going to briefly talk about today. There's video and print, audio booklets, the VR, AR, mapping, and then near field communications, QR codes, and mobile-based apps. So you don't have to memorize any of this stuff. We're just going to go through them one at a time, give you examples, and again, ask as many questions as you like.
Next.
So next.
Yeah, Sarah's moving the slides. We're just telling her what to do.
All right. So the first is video in print or video brochures, which many of you may or may not have seen before. And it's been around for a while, but this offers a huge wow factor. So the initial impact is really cool. And what's super important about this is that you have to engage in it, like physically engage with this. You have to pick it up, you have to open it, you get to listen, you have to watch, you can change the buttons in the program. So it's something that it captures your attention.
I'm gonna demo it right now. So
right.
if you're looking in the window here, you can see me. This is actually a video brochure, and what happens is when I open up the front page, the video comes on and plays.
Right. So the wait, what?
Buttons on this.
Oh, so it can be completely customized. So it's kind of limitless. There's different screen sizes, all sorts of things. The most common uses for this is with high ticket consumer products. And also the pharmaceutical industry uses this quite a bit as tools for the reps to take to the doctors for education, because the video really shortcuts a lot of the technical reading that's required. But these are valuable tools and very impactful.
Next. There we go.
So audiobooks. So in absence of a mobile device, there's nothing better. These are all-in-one units, and they also provide a very engaging experience. They're tactile. You have to unfold them. They're audible. They're visual, and once you put those in your ears, I mean, that content has your attention. And another cool thing is that the audio does not necessarily just repeat what the written word is. It can support it. So you've got a audible narrative with written content, and it can be very impactful. So it's a very cool thing in a tidy little package.
Yeah, and I think that there's definitely a demographic that would prefer some of that technology, especially when you're looking at healthcare or finance, different things where it might be a little complicated or complex to walk through. I can see that that would be a really cool tool. Before we move on, Vicky asked a question about the QR codes.
Yeah, I see that question. I'm gonna touch on that, but the answer is no. There is what we call a lock screen that we can make as part of the experience, where you don't have to have that image recognition there for this to happen. And I'll talk about that when we get a little deeper into the AR and the QR code.
Perfect. All right, we'll keep moving along here. So I think David's going to show us a video.
So in NFC, we use this every day, and anyone that's ever used tap and pay, that's NFC in action.
And here's a little video explaining what NFC is about.
So you've just tapped on the domed video button of your Heron Banking NFC journal. I'm here to show you what exactly each of these dome buttons do. By tapping the website button with your NFC-enabled smart device, you'll be brought to the Heron Banking landing page. This is meant to show a quick way to direct your customers to your website without the need of Google searches. By placing your device next to the events button, you'll be met with the events that Heron Banking is advertising to their clients. Now, with every tap of your NFC-enabled device to the events button, the advertising will change. Now, this is meant to showcase that you can change your messaging to your clients as long as the link remains the same. For the geolocation button, Google Maps will open on your smart device, directing you to the nearest bank at your current location. As you can see, functions other than directing people to websites is possible with NFC technology. Thanks for watching and learning about the various functions and the value that NFC technology can provide.
That's pretty cool technology, especially if anybody has a brick and mortar that they're trying to get people to go to. I can see how even just the map function would be really cool.
So that's the NFC.
So, and virtual reality, this has been around for a while. And there's a couple of virtual reality fully immerses you in a digitally created environment. So on the left, you're seeing a cardboard VR viewer that combines with your personal mobile device, and that's a fully printed tactile viewer that you assemble intentionally. Or you can go to the head-mounted device, which I equate to basically wearing a 3D movie theater on your face. I mean, you are fully immersed in this experience. It's another world. And when you talk about engagement, you are fully, your attention is fully captured in these experiences.
For sure.
All right, so here's the big
There's a question.
Here's the big augmented reality. I didn't see that question. What was that question?
The question is if they'll get the copy of this presentation, and yes, you will. I will send it out following this call with a recording of the presentation. So you can share with your colleagues and then do some of this interactive stuff in your free time. Not a problem.
So this is the fun part. This is taking print and making it come to life. I'm going to share this video and then we'll get a little deeper into this. Here we go.
Hi, This is interactive print, also known as augmented reality. It's pretty cool, right? If you have a look at the paper underneath, you'll notice that the image isn't moving, and yet here I am speaking to you. It doesn't matter if you cover up half of the page or turn it upside down. The image will still keep moving. We can now bring this to you, and we're pretty excited by it. You can include this in your publications, with the CEO being able to offer an address to engage your audience. It can be included in children's books, on your business cards, on invitations. We can include things like Facebook feeds or Twitter feeds. We can include video, like this one, or image carousels to bring additional content that wasn't in the printed publication. So, call or email us today and we'll have a chat to you about how we can make this work for you. Bye for now.
So that was pretty cool, huh? That's how the page comes to life. And let's go to the next screen here. And, you know, these are just some statistics of what the world is all about. You know, everybody has a cell phone. We all go to bed. Last thing we do is look at our cell phone. We wake up in the morning. First thing we're doing is grabbing that cell phone. So statistics are saying that media planners and buyers really are getting much more involved in this. With web AR, which is what the QR code is, this is how things are changing. Let's move on to the next slide. So this is another interactive scenario here. With the advent of the QR code, what's happening here is your web browser is becoming your app on your phone. Back in the day, you had to download a QR code reader on your phone to read the QR code. That's changed where the camera just does it. We'd also have to download a specific application in order to engage in the experience that we're sharing today. With web AR, you don't have to do that. Your web browser, which is, you know, typically Safari or Chrome, is that application that allows for this action to happen. In addition to that, when you're opening these QR codes and doing these experiences, we're getting back data analytics like we've never had before. We're getting down where we can see where this device is located on a longitude and latitude, so we can zoom in on a Google Maps section and see exactly where someone is standing or sitting while they're doing this experience and how long they've been on the experience. So go ahead and scan this QR code. And I'm going to let you guys, or whoever out there, do it. It might be slow again like it was before because we're all doing it at the same time. And you'll be able to place this mascot in the room. And once this is in the room, you'd be able to actually take a photograph with somebody standing with the mascot and be able to post that to social media. These become great social media ploys to expand your brand and be able to expand this opportunity or any opportunity going forward. Lots of games and contests we can do with this to see, you know, who the winner is and how these things roll going forward.
Very fun. I can see this used, you know, of course, the market that comes to mind is anything higher ed. They all have mascots, sporting, you know, sports teams, things like that. I think it would be really fun to launch a campaign that is, you know, take a picture with our mascot and, you know, enter in some drawing, and it could be like a social campaign. It could be a lot of fun.
So that was a question we just had from Stacy. Will you read that to me, Sarah?
Sure. So Stacy is asking, are these submitted to us, JR and HM, as still images, or are other file types required?
So it's about the digital asset. We can do anything from that perspective. You can send us digital assets that we can put into it, or you can send us stills that we can turn into digital assets. So in this particular case, this is a 3D model. And it's a computer graphic situation versus a 2D piece of film that we can add in here, or your logos, etc.
Perfect. Great question, Stacy.
Okay, next slide. All right, this is really fun stuff. So this is a 3D animated model that can be created. And this is a series of different animations for each one of these 3D models. So if you take your smartphone and you get a little closer to each QR code, there's going to be a different web browser website that comes up to do the same thing. Place this character in the room. And again, you can size these characters and you can move them around as well. So if you notice, once you place it in the room, and you touch your screen, there's a white square base. That's where you lock that in the room yourself. So if you want to move that around, you hold your phone, you tap your screen, and as you're holding your finger down on the screen and you move your screen in the room, you can place that white square in a different location in order to put it on top of your desk, put it on your partner's shoulder, move it into the floor, make it bigger or smaller by pinching or expanding your fingers. So there's all ways to be able to take these 3D images and creatively move them around. So I'll leave this open for a few seconds so all you guys can share in it. If you have any questions while you're doing it, let us know. Again, you'll be able to get this deck down the road too and play with some more stuff. Use your imagination. This is an endless world of possibilities with interaction. So there can be buttons around all these screens that take you to your home website or a specific page within your website. And we'll talk about that specific page as we go on a little further.
Or registration for an event, or download a white paper, or
It's
whatever
endless.
you can think of, you can be connected to.
Very cool. And I just always go back to the brand experience that someone would take away after interacting with your brands and your companies like this. I mean, I think it's really impactful. And while it's not new technology, it's not necessarily that's something that's flooded in the market either. So if you can be one of the first to market doing this, I mean, talk about an impression, right? All right, we're going to keep going just for the sake of time. But again, you guys will get a copy of this presentation so you can have some fun on your free time.
So this happens to be an app-based experience, but it can certainly be QR code. When it was developed at first, there was no web AR available. So what happened here is once you launch the experience, you'd be able to scan your prescription medication. And by scanning your prescription medication, as you can see on the phone window here, what pops up are all these blue buttons surrounding the medication that you just got from the drugstore. And each one of these things here are an interactive way to know more about the medication you just took, along with the coupon. And you can see you can do all sorts of things with coupons and offers and everything else. So you can see this was a medication to be able actually to take some blood as well here. So it says take a sample. You could poke your finger and take a little blood with it. Read about this, remind you to take your pills so your calendar could come up and you can put it on your calendar, take it 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you'd be able to do those reminders because of it. So all sorts of things you can do. Again, endless possibilities.
That's great. And you can't help but notice that coupon that's attached there too, right? So it's all about increasing those transactions.
So this is really just a great application for it. So USPS is offering 2% discounts on mailings throughout the year. And the discount is based on interactivity through augmented reality and other technologies. So for example, if you were able to open up the application with a QR code that's on here, and you'd scan the front cover of this publication, that's screen 1, you'll be able to jump to screen 2. Now, at the top of screen 2, it looks a little funny. There's like a little bird there. Well, that's a 3D image of their mascot, and it bobs up and down and moves around. So it seems like it's a live animation. Each one of these featured products that were on the front cover have a button with it that say, buy now. So I went ahead and clicked the buy now over the dress on the right side. And what happens? That specific page for their catalog pops up to that dress and allows you the ability to change colors of the dress, sizes, and make a purchase as if you were on their mobile web AR page without having to search for it. It's right there, right in front of you. Quick, easy way to get people interested to buy more product quicker. So this could be happening on every single page in the catalog or publication you send out on a retail basis. Use these thoughts and ideas to see how they translate into your own world and your own marketing ideas.
Definitely. And from a marketer standpoint, we're always looking for ways to address our ROI and measure the impact of what we're doing. I mean, this is a direct tie to sales, right? So this is a fun one.
Yeah, and with that being said, you're getting specific analytics of where these people were that looked at this stuff, what buttons they pushed, and how long they interacted with those buttons.
Definitely.
Yes, there is reporting and tracking with all this stuff. We'll get to the analytics part of AR as we get through the conversation here. So great question, Colleen.
For sure. And Wendy had asked about product placement. So here's a little teaser for you.
Yeah, same kind of concept we do with the mascot. This is a little product placement, same scenario where you'll scan the QR code. And here, this is a desktop application. So you'll want to put this on your desk, but you'll also be able to walk around this in a 3D fashion as well. Not only spin it in a 3D, but place it. And once it's placed on your desktop and you can walk around your desktop, you'll see all angles of it from that one location as well. So,
That's 100%.
It's 100% to scale. We can lock it at 100% to scale too. So your end user doesn't have to manipulate the product. You can send it out in the real world as if this is the only way you can play with it.
Very cool.
Well, Wendy, your question was
just got
100% to scale in 3D. Yes, 100% to scale and 3D. 100%. Yes.
Yeah, I just purchased a Peloton last week and they have this feature, which was really cool because now I know exactly where I want to put it in my home.
So geo mapping and print. So what John Roberts has the ability to do based on the zip code of the recipient of your printed piece, they've got some variable data technology in order to place the closest location to the zip code you mailed to with a Google Map feature and a direction to be able to see how to get there. That's pretty cool stuff from a printing perspective.
Yeah, and one other thing that I'd like to add to this is if you notice this example that's on here is all of the variable print data, right? It says, Sarah, did you know that you're 3 miles away from Sundance? Well, depending on where you are located, all of that can be variable data that can get personalized to that person, which also includes the map for them to sort of put into perspective where they are and how to get to their destination. We can also do turn-by-turn directions. So again, it's just making it really easy for someone to do your call to action, especially if you have a location that you want someone to go visit.
So stay here for 1 second. I want to touch on the variable data as well in AR. So I've really been speaking 99% here about web AR because web AR is much easier to engage the client and there's no friction about downloading an app or going to an app, etc. But all the same technology is available based on a web application as well. So I'm sure a bunch of you guys have your own apps that are available through the app stores. And if we wanted to take this AR component, we can tie that AR component directly to your existing web browser web application and follow all the same legal rules, regulations behind that. In addition to that, because it's a specific application for your business, most of the time I would think there was a registration process to have that. If you have that registration process, now we can do the same variable data through an AR experience. So for example, Sarah, I'll pick on you. If this was part of your banking app and we were offering something through Web AR, you would be able to scan an image for image recognition, and we could make it variable data where it would say, hey, Sarah, how are you doing? Versus if John opened it, it would say, hey, John, how are you doing? All of that is very easily done, all capable, and all falls under the rules and regulations within your existing mobile app, but customizable.
Very cool. Throughout our webinar series, we've definitely talked about the impact of personalization. So it's just another way to enhance it.
So here's where our question was about data and analytics. So there's a bunch of different analytics, very similar to Google Analytics, where we'll be able to show different charts and different parts of these experience. We can dive in as deep as saying, you know, how long did, if we go back to that experience where the medication, we can say, how long did someone touch on button 1 or button 2 or button 5? All that data comes back to you, and you can specifically look at it from a time period, a week, a month, a day, an hour. Lots of detail we can get from that. Let's go to the next slide.
It's all about data and what you do with it, right?
Exactly. So same kind of idea here. You'll be able to see the regions, the platform they looked at, whether they were on their cell phone or whether they were on a web browser, whether it was an iPhone or an Android, whether it was a tablet. All that information is available, and it goes by each campaign that you create.
So I'll touch on this. David sort of alluded to the fact, you know, USPS has promotions throughout the year. They're making it really easy for you to save money. So again, with emerging and advanced technologies, there's a promotion period that really emphasized the things that we talked about today. David also talked about the mobile shopping and that capability. So just, you know, keep in mind that USPS has these promotions that save you 2% of your postage, which is a really great opportunity to, you know, leverage or offset the cost of what it is that you're doing in your project, or better yet, extend the reach to the people that you have on your list. So again, just wanted to remind everyone that saving 2% on postage can be a huge cost savings.
So speaking of that, we had one catalog company who spent their first year, they wanted to try it to see if it was worthwhile. They spent about $3,500 into the AR experience. And because of the AR experience and the postage discount, they saved over $80,000 that year on postage because of the $3,500 spend on AR. So little return on your investment there, I think.
Definitely. So as I mentioned at the beginning of today's call, for those that are on today's webinar, David and Ed are offering up their consultation services. They'd be happy to walk through your specific brands, initiatives, campaigns that you have coming up, how some of this technology can integrate into your material to make it, you know, really stand out from the crowd and take it a step further. So get with your account executive, let them know that you're interested in this offer, and we'll coordinate with David and Ed to make that happen. If you are new to John Roberts or HM Graphics and you don't have an account executive assigned to you, reach out to me and I'd happy to point you in the right direction. This is, you know, even if just a good brainstorm session comes out of it, and it helps you plan for future campaigns and budget materials and things like that, take advantage of it. So I think that is
Open for any questions. If anybody has any questions, Ed and I are happy to sit here for a few minutes and answer anything you want to know.
Yeah, if you don't have any questions, drop us a note and let us know which piece of technology really stood out to you and what you liked the best. We'd be curious to know that information. And again, just ask us any questions while we've got David and Ed here. No question is too silly, as they know. I had to ask a lot of questions to really understand, you know, how does this get done? Is it really as easy as you say it is? So ask away. So Stacy is asking, can you give us a general cost of the video brochures? I'll jump in quickly and say, you know, the video production is probably going to be your biggest expense. If the video production's already done and it's something that you want to link to, I think that the cost is pretty minimal. There are lots of variables for sure. Sizing, what you want the video to do, if you want them to be able to select channels, if it's just going to be an open and play. Definitely get with your account executive, let them know kind of what you're interested in, and we can definitely get an estimate your way and kind of walk you through that. Bobby says it's lots to digest, and we'll follow up with Mike about the brainstorming session. Thanks, Kathy, for attending. Some great ideas, combining technology with print. Any other questions? Has anyone experienced product placement with anything that they've purchased recently, even if it's in their personal life? I think that's really cool. I think for those that are tied in with, you know, manufacturing of any sort, and they're looking at new equipment, I know if John Roberts or HM Graphics were going to be looking at new presses, I think it's really cool to be able to say, okay, where would it fit within our plant? How would it work with our workflow? I think that's really cool. Stacy says that many furniture retailers use this technology, which again, you know, how is this going to look in my home? Is it going to fit? I think that's really cool.
It's the same technology that Warby Parker uses to see how glasses look on your face. I mean, it's
sure. How hearing aids might look on you. You know, I think there's some medical things and medical devices that there's definitely some user acceptance, if you will. So to get them comfortable with different things like that. All right, well, it doesn't look like we have any questions. Oh, wait. Oh, Yeti uses 3D and AR for some of their products like luggage, duffel bags, and backpacks. That's a good one, Christina. Definitely when you think about the up and coming brands, right? And the brands that you remember, they're at the cutting edge of all of this technology. So we definitely want your company and your brands to be thought of in that same caliber. So Kyle asked, are you guys willing to perform and provide this presentation to our agency? Absolutely, Kyle. Get with your account executive and we'll set something up. If you don't have one, reach out to me, Kyle. I'm not familiar with your name, but definitely reach out to us and we'll get something going.
Sherwin-Williams and all the paint manufacturers have these on their website, so you can see the color on your wall before you even go to the store. It's really helpful.
Very cool. All right, well, if we don't have any other questions, we're going to wrap it up. We thank everyone for attending today's call. David and Ed, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you guys. Thanks for attending, everybody.
You guys are busy, and there will be a follow-up email sent out with a recording of today's presentation. I'll also include just the PDF of the presentation so you can share it with your colleagues and play around with some of the QR codes and different things like that. And please complete our survey. We're really interested in what webinar topics would be of interest to you, and we'd be happy to present on that. So with that, everyone, happy Friday, enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you,
Great.
guys.
Thanks, everybody.